Now to this, the White House is increasing pressure on U.S. trading partners. President Trump says 14 countries will now face tariffs of at least 25% starting next month. For some nations, it's as high as 40%. The president posted his letters addressed to the nation's leaders on social media, communicating these new rates. However, he left negotiations open, saying adjustments could be made. CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand joins us from the White House with more on this. Natalie, good morning to you. So South Korea and Japan get a 25% tariff, but smaller trading partners like Myanmar and Laos get 40%. What's the thinking there?
Errol, good morning. Well, if you look back to those reciprocal tariffs, as the administration calls them, that were announced back in April, the rates announced yesterday roughly match that, give or take a bit. They're roughly in line. So those first letters that went out to trading partners, including South Korea and Japan, the rates announced in those letters posted on social media of around 25%. Then you have a country like South Africa facing 30%. Thailand and Cambodia face potential tariffs of up to 36%. But as you alluded to, the last paragraph of that letter says if you open up your markets to the United States or eliminate your trade barriers, in other words, negotiate, then there could be adjustments. And the new deadline that the White House is operating under is now next month, August 1st. Our Ed O'Keefe pressed the president on that deadline last night. Take a listen.
Is the August 1 deadline firm now? Is that it?
I would say firm. No, I would say firm, but not 100% firm. If they call up and they say, would like to do something a different way, we're going to be open to that. But essentially, that's the way it is right now.
So we're in another period now of negotiations, with the Treasury Secretary saying yesterday that more announcements would be made in terms of trade deals in the next 48 hours or so. And we're still waiting to learn where the biggest trading partners will land. Mexico, Canada, also the EU. We still don't have details about what those final deals could potentially look like as these talks continue, Errol.
And Natalie, at that same meeting, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu heaped praise on the president. What did he say? And might there be progress on a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas soon?
Yeah, that was the big question, because this dinner last night, which was initially supposed to be private, but then opened up to the media to ask some questions, that dinner was happening as these indirect talks continue between Israel and Hamas. The White House saying Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, will also be traveling this week to Qatar, even as sticking points remain. And the President Trump, was asked, what is the holdup with these talks, and he indicated he didn't think there was a hold up, and then went on to talk about Iran. So not a lot of clarity with where things stand. But interestingly, Prime Minister Netanyahu was also asked about the future for Palestinians, about a two-state solution, and he said Palestinians should have the power to govern themselves, but not the power to threaten Israel, saying security will remain in Israel's hands. Notably, President Trump did not answer the question of whether he thinks there should be a two-state solution, Errol.
And we just saw the president looking at the document the Israeli Prime Minister handed over and nominating him, he says, for a Nobel Peace Prize, a sign of how close they are. Natalie, thanks so much. Appreciate the update.